Hi guys, welcome to Hivecast. We have our very first guest, Mr. Aman Gupta from OPAA Homes in India, uh, the founder and CEO of OPAA Homes. OPAA Homes is a sofa manufacturing company. Aman has also been into retail. Amanji, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Gautam ji, and it's a pleasure having to meet you and talk to you.
Likewise, I actually had the good fortune to meet Aman over the weekend here in Dubai. He was visiting and got to learn a lot about what's happening in the Indian manufacturing space. Aman is a champion in producing sofas, and this is what our central theme for today is. Um, I'd like to tell you all that Aman has also written this book, Worried About Choosing the Right Sofa. I have been a B2B buyer. I was constantly worried about choosing the right sofa. And at home also, my wife and me, it took us a long time to decide as to how to do up our house. Even though I come from the furniture background, it was very tricky. But let's dive straight into this. Amanji, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you began, and a little bit about OPA?
Uh, so the thing with OPA is I come from a business family, and my family business is into real estate. We even have an education business and furniture. So we had a little diversified business. And I did my studies in London. Then I went for in US at Harvard for some business courses and everything. So when I came back, I joined in 2019. And when I joined my family business, so I saw that a lot of things were happening, but they were not organized and structured. So in the morning time, I used to go to the school which we had and which we still now have it. And I used to go there, sit for 3, 4 hours and see what was happening. And then I used to come to our furniture retail store, which is from last 17 years. And after that, I used to see the real estate business. So I was like in all three boats, and nothing was just, I didn't have one thing. But after 6 months, I realized that this is not going to work. I need to stick to one thing. And I always had this aspiration where I was very enticed by how these big factories work. And I always used to see, since we were in furniture industry, we had a small scale manufacturing since last 17 years. I decided to scale up the manufacturing. So we started our first plant in 10,000 square feet, which is in Greater Noida. And over there, we started to do for hotels and Horeca industry. We did for a lot of restaurants. We manufactured furniture, especially sofas, recliners, chairs, ottomans for the residential projects as well. And after that, last year, which is 2022, I believe, 2022, and I traveled a few countries. I went to this Thailand, I went to Vietnam. I saw the manufacturing scale and facilities which these guys have. I'm sorry for this. And when I visited them, that just changed the paradigm, and that just shifted my mindset. And I thought, like, this is what I always was looking for. And when I studied the industry, when I met a lot of experts, I found out that this is the gap in the industry, which usually what happens is a lot of B2B players, they want to procure sofa or upholstered product from China, Vietnam, and Malaysia, Indonesia. And that's what I thought, like, why not get it into India? It will take time, it takes a lot of effort. And I always had this vision where I wanted to touch, move, and inspire, like, around a lot of people. So what can be a better place than having a factory where you have 4, 5 thousand workers, and they have 4, 5 people in their family, and at the end you're affecting the life of 20, 25 thousand people. And that's where I started, that I want to start get into exports. And definitely my competition is globally, it's not just India. And then in India also, when you see furniture, it is very unorganized sector. And again, so there is a lot of opportunity. That's where I frame. So in 2022, in the end, around November, I framed this company. We moved to a new facility, which is around 60,000 square feet. We scaled up our production, and now here we are doing manufacturing sofas, recliners, chairs, and ottomans, mostly upholstered furniture, and doing OEMs and for projects and exports. So yeah.
That's super, Aman. Such a great thought. I mean, you mentioned 4 or 5 thousand people getting employment, and directly or indirectly impacting 4 or 5 thousand families and their livelihood. So beautiful. Great. You just when I began right now, after you finish your introduction, you mentioned about your competition being not only locally within India but also overseas. Let me ask you, when you decided that this is what you want to do, you want to step into production in a proper organized manner. Were you thinking of distributing and producing only for India, or was export always on your mind? How did that happen? And if export is what you're looking at, where are you focusing now?
Okay. So basically, by God's grace, I've traveled more than 27 countries, and I had this exposure where I saw what was there in other countries and what was not in India. So the comfort level of the sofas, which usually other countries have, it's still missing in India. So even I have a sofa in my house, which was bought from here only in India, and there was no comfort level which those sofas offered. Maybe I was in UK, the type of recliners and the product which they had, definitely the designs were modern and they were a little quirky. So that thing came to my mind, that why are we in India incapable for this, and why cannot we deliver what these products are like? So in US also, the sort of products they have, it's the comfort level and the quality and the finishing is top notch. And that is what it struck to me, that I have to be global, and anyhow to uh, reach 5,000 families and affect them, their livelihood, you have to be global, because that's where the quantities are, right? And
Right.
that's when I decided that why not India? Let's work on it, because things take time. Definitely it does, and there are few players in India, those who are doing it, and China has always been number one in this. But since the world is looking at the China plus one policy, so I decided why not to do it. And after that, I met a lot of experts. We have a lot of experts in our team. Those who are being those they have been in this industry since like 25 years, upholstery, and so yeah, after that I got to learn about a lot of we designed a lot of processes, and we made everything production streamlined, because at the end it's about the throughput, the efficiency, because manufacturing is altogether a different ball game. And again, you need a team. Without the team, you cannot be competitive or successful. So yeah.
I totally agree. Team is what will take any business forward. If you have the right team, then I think 70% of the battle is won. But interesting, no, but there is a huge market within India itself. And what I understand is that the retailers in India are very happy to source particularly sofas from within India. I know for the rest of the products, they have to rely on the Asian countries, like you mentioned, perhaps Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand to some extent. India has this ASEAN agreement, so a couple of countries are duty free. Um, but yeah, so you're sitting in a market which requires a lot. Uh, and so you will still continue to cater to India as well as focus on the export market. Is that correct?
Yeah, Exactly. India's population has recently surpassed China's population. There's definitely a huge potential. It's the upcoming thing in the world. Everyone talks about India. Uh, Not only that, when you're exporting, you are actually bringing something to your nation, which increases the GDP and everything. That's also a thought which drives me. And India, I'll tell you, since the industry is unorganized, what happens is um, every retailer, they have a connect with one or two local manufacturers, right? And the challenge which we also hear from our retailers and everyone is that those local manufacturers, they have no science, they haven't they just know how to make a sofa, and they don't know any comfort composition, they don't work in any integrity of the material. Whatever they put, it's I would say a lot of global companies won't even accept that and consider that whatever they put inside. I recently did a cross section analysis also, where I compared Delhi's local market sofa which we purchased from there, and opened it and saw what all material was inside. And it definitely, the material which is being chosen, so it affects the comfort and the life and the quality of the sofa. And sofa is something which is very underrated, which we won't think about in our daily lives, that how much it affects. Because at the end, what happens is when we are back from a tiring day, we want to sit with our family in comfort and relax. And um, there's this napping culture which is not in India, but is they are very good for taking a nap, because at the end you don't want to sleep on the bed and sleep for long. You just want to
Sure.
sleep on the sofa for some time.
Yeah.
And yes, it plays a big role in the life. And different type of sofas have different comfort. Um, and so when we cater to the horeca industry, the hospitality, they don't want a lot of comfort for their lobbies, because they don't want their guests to sit for long. And but it's the other way around in homes. Everyone in their houses want a comfortable sofa. And in India also, I would like to mention this, that there's this trend where people want to buy the product and they want to keep it for like 7, 8, 10 years.
Generational.
uh,
Yeah.
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 And I think in coming years, since a lot of disposable income is started to gather with the middle class, upper middle class, and everyone, so people will start to spend on furniture. They'll start to reconsider changing their furniture in 3, 4 years. So a lot of good potential is there in India. A lot of things can be done. The only thing is, which I believe is is doing with a vision, where you are giving the right product to the right market at the right price. Because India is a very price sensitive market. So yeah, there's
Very,
huge
very,
potential.
very interesting. Here in Dubai, I think the industry average is about 4 years that people switch furniture. Uh, but Dubai, I think it's actually less than 4 years because the per capita consumption of furniture in the UAE is probably the highest. It's a 11 million population here in UAE, and the home furniture industry is valued at about 2.53 billion US dollars in 11 million population. So and sofa, interestingly, sofa is the highest selling category. People
Very
want to
true.
be home proud. People like to entertain at homes over here, and which is why their sofas have to be up to date. Uh, and that actually drives, of course, the disposable income and everything is up there. But that's actually what drives people to switch regularly or upgrade regularly. But talking about product, I read briefly in your book about you mentioned about smart sofas, eco-friendly sofas. Uh, Eco-friendly sustainability is a buzzword, I would say, these days. What do you mean by smart sofas? If you could tell us a little bit, and eco-friendly sofas. That is something that everybody would really like to understand. What is this?
Uh, Great. that is something which I am actually curious with my team also, and me and my team, we are curious to develop that here in India. What's happening is that requires a lot of innovation. Smart sofa is something, since the places have become small and people are moving towards cities and there's not a lot of space. Here in India also, in New Delhi, in Gurgaon, and even the NCR, people require furniture which is smart, which can be like sofa cum beds. That's another version of a smart furniture where you have this accessory and you can open it whenever you want. So again, there's a lot of hardwares and accessories which can make the product save the space. So these days there, so a lot of since last 10, 15 years, a lot of Chinese companies are offering the USB ports, and even they are offering tables and holders and everything. What happens is when these sofas are imported to India, every person has an aspiration to get these sort of sofas, and so every person has an aspiration to get some sort of sofas which are not very common, right?
Sure.
So they are different sort of hardwares which you can move it around and move the seat and make it like a lounger or like a bed or a day bed. So what's happening is a lot of people have this aspiration, but since after importing these sofas, the duties go so high through the roof and they become so expensive, and they're not able to be a pocket friendly stuff for them, right? And so that's the idea, to develop smart sofas which requires a lot of hardware, which is unfortunately not in India right now, and a lot of things needs to be worked. When it comes to sustainability, again, it's the upcoming thing and everyone is talking about. So with our sourcing, we make sure that we are choosing the sustainable products. And when I talk about product, the fabric, first of all, is sustainable. Then we are working on certain foam composition which actually can reduce the carbon footprint. And
Wow.
similarly, we make sure the FSC certified woods and the ply. Again, then we are also primarily looking for working with vendors, those who have less carbon footprint, and for the wood procurement. When it comes to the fillers, there a lot of buyers now want the recycled cotton fillers, which come inside the cushion. So that is also being used. But again, it's still a far thing to reach sustainability, because the end user also, there are a lot of people, those who are aware, those who want to spend that, but at times sustainable product can be an expensive product, which becomes a thing.
This is absolutely true, and this is what I get to hear from a lot of our buyers, our friends in the furniture industry over here, that sustainability is a path that they want to go down on, but at what cost? And if they are prepared to bear the cost, can they pass it on to the customer in full or part, and will the customer be willing to accept this? But I think the awareness, like you said, is increasing. The younger generation wants to save the planet, and I think it's great. If we can have sofas which are actually eco-friendly in whichever way, I'm sure it's to do with packaging, like you said, it's to do with procurement of the material that goes into your sofa. And this education needs to be passed down right to the guy who is retailing at the shop floor, wherever your sofas are, so that he can pass on this information to the customer and tell them exactly that this is how they're contributing to the environment and so on and so forth. But very quickly, can you tell us a little bit about the trends now, Amanji? What was, let's say, perhaps a year ago? Is that still valid today? Is home fashion evolving as fast as regular fashion? Does it not evolve that quickly? How is the timeline or the life cycle in that?
Okay. So in India, even the whole India is talking about becoming a 5 trillion economy. And when we talk about becoming a 5 trillion economy, definitely what happens is the income of the middle class increases, right? Coming back to my older point, people will have more disposable income. When they have disposable income, they start to buy more luxury items, they start to spend in their homes, they start to buy more fashion clothing, and they travel a lot. So it gradually increases the economy, right?
Right.
And it is definitely going to affect the retail, furniture retail as well. We see a lot of aspirations and demands from the end user for more designer sofas. Like what's happening is a lot of curve sofas are in trend these days, and
Yeah.
even in my trip to Dubai, I saw a lot of designs which are curved, and eventually the world has this design theme which is curved. In India also a lot of people want it. What I see is when I meet retailers, when I go there, there is not a lot of good finished quality curved sofas, right? People show us, customers they come to us on our retail stores, they show us that we want this.
Yeah.
What happens is when the retail manufacturer, he gets it manufactured, the product which is in the picture and what comes out is just day and night, right? There's
Yeah.
a huge difference. So again, what I'm saying is, a put people want to take new products. They want to redesign their living areas. They want to redesign their bedroom areas. They have a lot of designs which they want the retailer should be able to make or should give them, and that's why they go out also. So last year only, it was a very good year for a lot of retailers also. And so I would say again, it's a good demand. And the only thing is, right sourcing and right product should be offered to them, which eventually requires a lot of back end integration, right? When I mean by backend, what I mean by backend integration is, for example, recliners. It's a great product, and still in today's time, a lot of people don't know what is a recliner and how it can be used, right? So
Yeah.
in India, so recliner hardware of recliner, it is usually imported. So what needs to be done, since the quantities are increasing, we need some sourcing of recliner in India only. That can reduce the cost, and it can actually affect the common person's pocket. It can be a pocket friendly item, right?
Sure.
So a lot of needs to be done. The industry needs to be organized, and in coming months and years, there's this BIS coming in the furniture industry also, which will have certain sort of quality parameters, and eventually the end user will benefit from that, because so a lot of things is going on, and we are
Yeah.
making sure that we just are in the right direction for that.
BIS is very very interesting. I had a long chat with a couple of people while I was in India last week, and I think
Mm.
you and I will be able to do another session on BIS because it's interesting from an Indian perspective. It's interesting from an export perspective for people who want to export into India from Asia. So yeah, Amanji, I'm very glad that we got to do this.
Right, sir.
Um, I think the future of sofa production is in good hands with you, with people like you, with the younger generation getting into production. We spoke a lot about OPA's journey. We spoke about smart and eco-friendly sofas. We spoke about some trends. We spoke about, and you've spoken about in your book about investing in comfort, which is crucial, right? I think the potential is immense. Like you said, the world is ready for China plus one. We here in the Gulf are ready for China plus one. This economy is heavily reliant on importing from China, but they are constantly looking at India, um, and for somebody in India to step on the pedal and give them what they want. Any last words for our listeners, Amanji? about OPAA, about you wanting to do business over here. Perhaps we will see you at Hive. Anything you'd like to say?
I would say everything starts with a vision, and you have a vision. Eventually, you start meeting those kind of people, those who share the same vision, and at the end, everything gets in place and everything gets done. So it's very important to have a vision and take actions every day and stick to your vision and have faith in it. So yeah.
Aman ji, thank you again for doing this with us.
Thank you so much.